Let's talk attachment styles, shall we? Alright, I'm finding a lot of information in the pop psychology and YouTube channel and all the social media about attachment styles. So the most popular one will be anxious and avoidant attachment styles. And there is a lot of information on how to identify your attachment style and what to do with that attachment style. So let's dig a little bit into the subject. So as far as we know, anxious attachment style is when you demand a lot of reassurance, when you demand a lot of attention, when you ask your partner if he loves you all the time, when you demand lots of time together, when you demand when you have a lot of needs and you may sound needy for your partner, right? And when you're always scared if the partner would leave you or the partner doesn't love you anymore or things like that. And there are also many other ways how to identify your anxious attachment style, but let me go to avoidant one. Oh, an avoidant attachment style is completely opposite. Basically, an avoidant partner always pulls away, always is busy with his life or with his work or with his other tasks to do, is not basically wanting too much attention from his partner or her partner, is very much scared to open up and talk about his feelings or her feelings. He prefers not to spend a lot of time together, or whatever things get too emotional, he pulls away and gets into his or her cave, right? Of course, it's easy to justify the lack of emotional intelligence with attachment styles, and there is a lot of information about that which is being spread like virus in the internet, but let me tell you what I think about it. Okay, look, we all had childhood. And we were supposed to learn emotional intelligence the first 7 years of our life. And we were supposed to learn our attachment style, you might call it, the way we had our relationship with our mother. So the way she loves us defined that attachment style, or the way we remembered that she loves us. And of course, if we never worked on those emotions we had inside us, we will always have a justification on how we behave. We may behave anxious and say, you know what, I have an anxious attachment style and that's why I behave anxious. Or, you know what, I have an avoidant attachment style and that's why I just leave you alone and go wherever I go. But does it actually help you to build a secure relationship? Does it actually help you to build a healthy relationship? Does it actually help you to build any relationship? This justification just keeps you running around in your trauma cycle. So let's go deeper in that. In the root of anxious avoidant dynamic is one simple program. I am not good enough. The anxious partner feels that they or he or she is not good enough for them. And the avoidant partner, when things get hot, pulls away just because he or she or them is unable to process their emotions. And they're basically running from the same program, which is, if I'm not able to process my own emotions, I'm not good for them or him or her. All right? As simple as that. So, what can be the solution? You may think that, okay, if I'm an avoidant, I need more freedom. You may say, if I'm anxious, I need more reassurance. And you will keep fighting with each other. There is no solution. The solution I see is basically first, to learn to express your feelings. That's the first basic thing you are normally learning in therapy, mostly in those methods which are supposed to teach you emotional intelligence, which is to feel those feelings you avoided to feel when you were a child. For example, when you were extremely scared, or when you're extremely ashamed, or you were extremely feeling guilty, or when you were extremely feeling angry. All of those emotions are supposed to be developed. How you develop them? Well, me personally, I do clinical hypnosis for that. You may use any other methods which sounds good for you. So far, I haven't found a better one. They are supposed not to analyze your feelings and not to talk about your feelings, but teach you to feel them. So that here, in your brain, you'll have that neuronal chain finally adjusted. And then you're easily talking about any kind of feeling you have in any kind of relationship, either you have an anxious attachment style or an avoidant attachment style, you're easily opening up step by step. Of course, it takes time, but you're easily opening up and you're easily seeing your own truth. This is the first step I would advise you to get into. The second step, which I would advise you to get into, would be to understand the real need which was behind that emotion. Right? And the real need could be, I need my space, or I need my reassurance. And you may blame each other for having the difficult needs or something, or you may step forward, like make a step toward each other and try to fulfill the needs of each other. For example, I need reassurance. I give you space. We may not be chatting or talking the whole day or walking or going for dates every night or whatever, but you may give me a short call of 10 minutes or give me a message, and that will be enough for me to stay outside of my anxiety. As simple as that. And I recently actually found information of a guy who's talking a lot about his avoidant attachment style and basically providing a lot of information on how to treat men with avoidant attachment style. So he said that women with anxious attachment style are toxic for avoidance. But I'm sorry, that dynamic is created by an avoidant partner. As simple as that. If you provide security in a relationship, if you show up and you are there, even if it's hard for you, you understand that it's hard for you, but you're able to communicate it clearly and say, you know what, I feel very much emotional now, but I'm unable to differentiate it. Let's find a solution for that. Maybe we go to mediation. Maybe we go to find a good hypnotherapist. Maybe we go to some kind of emotional coach. We have to find a solution, because the cycle will keep popping up, right? I will not be just avoiding emotions, suppressing them inside and thinking that everything will be fine. Basically, suppressing your emotions inside will lead you to overweight, will lead you to psychosomatic diseases, which are basically every disease which are not being caused by some kind of physical trauma or chemicals. So they can lead you to severe strokes like brain stroke or heart attack. They can lead you to anything if you suppress them inside. The best way is to learn to express them in a healthy way, right? Not to analyze them, not to talk about them, but express them. In my perspective, talking about anxious or avoidant attachment style basically is just a justification of a non-developed emotional intelligence, and the unwillingness to find a solution for it is basically a justification of staying in the victimhood and empowering yourself as a victim. So if I were you and I would end up in some kind of trauma cycle in between an anxious and avoidant partner, the best thing I would do is I would go to couples therapy with a very good therapist who is able to identify emotions and needs, or I may go to an emotional relationship coach, which is doing basically the same. This would be the only solution. But if you just keep justifying your attachment style by finding some pop psychology information in internet, and if that information consists of the word toxic, if that word is present there, I wouldn't trust that information. Because if you say that someone is toxic, you're basically projecting. You're unable to identify your feelings. So if you're a coach or a psychologist or whoever else who is spreading this misinformation, you better do the work on your emotional intelligence first, and then do something good for the humanity. Thank you.